So the art committee has some pressing questions. How do you convert a rectangular, gray, rather dismal factory space into an exciting place that explains the technology, engages the community, our children, and is healing for visitors and factory employees? Next slide. Next slide. Next slide, Devin. So art has the power to lift our spirits, to bring us together. As we ask these questions of how do we solve these problems, it can bring us together and it can inspire us. Next. Art allows us to engage with our community and our children. And this is an example done by a local Girl Scout troop for a project in Crystal Cove. And the CHERP Art Committee will be engaging with children and students and our community members, because art plus technology creates pathways of understanding and enabling us to spread this important information. Next slide. I'm excited to introduce to you 3 international artists whose art and lives are committed to a sustainable, healthy environment inside our factory and our community and our planet. These artists have agreed to come onto the board of advisors and create stunning concepts for our interiors. Athena Hahn is a local artist working extensively in galleries and museums. She is currently working on a 32-foot mural for our Pomona Library. Her work engages the viewer's minds, bodies, and spirits. And she works often with creating complex art projects that engage the viewer scientifically, artistically, and wrapping that all together. So welcome on board, Athena Hahn. So our next speaker is, sorry, Deb, can you go back a slide? Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. Next slide. Our second artist that we've invited on board is Peter Erskine. He's a solar spectrum sculptor. He engages the power of the sunlight and addresses the pressing issues of climate change in his work. Peter converts sunlight into shards of prismatic light, rainbows. And in the process of discovering this process, Peter has found that people who step into these rainbows have the unexpected pleasure of feeling healthier and feeling healing. And he's going to be creating work for our art, or inside our factory. Next slide. Bruce Odland is a sonic thinker. He's an artist who thinks with his ears. He captures the cacophony outside and inside our industrial buildings, including our factory, and then creates harmonic sounds that are healing. He's a big thinker with his ears, and we welcome Bruce Odland. His work has appeared in Rome, Berlin, New York, among many others. Bruce, Peter, and Athena are committed to creating a healthy, healing space for our employees while engaging in exciting ways with our children, community, and visitors. Next slide. Okay, Athena, you're up.
Hi, everybody. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I'm really excited at all the information I've heard today. I'm just so impressed, and thank you for compiling all kinds of great material for us. Go ahead, next slide. There we go. I developed some slides to try to explain to my sister how solar works, solar panels. I didn't know when I first started, and by the time I figured it out. It probably took me about 4 months. And like the rest of you, I don't have a background in that area. So I imagined portraying it sort of as a children's book, something really simple that people could absorb. Over to the right, these couple smaller slides are ideas for banners that can be in the factory initially. Next slide. They can also be bilingual. Pomona's 70% Hispanic right now. So that's another way we can use banners and address our local community. Next slide. When I was working, excuse me, when I was working on this one, because I was thinking about photons and how they move and operate and divide, I looked up a rainbow artist online, and that's how we found Peter, who so graciously offered to work with us. Next. Devin, yeah, thank you. I'm very interested in plants as a metaphor and how modeling after them has enabled us to develop this technology. Next. So as you can see, making that periodic table a few years ago helped me wrap my head around all this. And I don't think that for most people, it's very important that they know specifically how things work, but artists in other communities at least can get an idea and work from there to create their own images. Next. This is my first stab at what a founder's circle might look like. So if you just replace all that beautiful CHERP words and Latin with people's names, that's one way we might do it on the wall as a mural. And next up is Peter, who will talk to you about rainbows. Hi, Peter. If he's here. I see your name.
Almost. Cursor over there. Okay.
There we go. Thank you.
And next slide. This is, this should be one before that. Is there one back? No. Doesn't matter. We'll go through. This is, my work is made out of sunlight. And I use high-tech laser cut prisms, which are exposed to direct sunlight, and then they refract the sunlight into the colors of the solar spectrum. So my work is made out of sunlight, and its energy source is sunlight. And of course, all life is solar powered. Photosynthesis is what we eat, the plants that we eat, or the animals that eat the plants. And of course, the air that we breathe is also made from photosynthesis and sunlight. So my art, I really think of this art of the sun goddess and want to celebrate her beauty. And when I heard about this project, I've been working on this for 25 years, in fact, and this is a picture of the taken in the ancient Roman Forum and Trajan's Markets, where Bruce Allen and I first started working 25 years ago on a big solar project, Secrets of the Sun. And so that's a project about the beauty and dangers of sunlight, the beauty of the rainbow, and the dangers of climate change, ozone depletion, and mass species extinction. And so for the last 25 years, I've been looking for something like CHERP, and here it is. And Athena called me up, and I immediately wanted to be a part of this project. And I have to say that what the students did was just overwhelmingly beautiful. It brought tears to my eyes, and the idea that something like this can happen. I lived in LA for 25 years. I live in Oregon now, but this could happen, in my old neighborhood as a seed that's planted that could really go around the world is a very, very powerful experience to be a part of it. I'm honored to be a part of it. Let's see what the next slide is, whatever it is. Oh, this is nearby. This is in the Fontana Library, which is now closed, but if you have a chance to go and visit sometime, you'll see this is a solar spectrum installation that I did. It's on there's one on the first floor of the rotunda and on the second floor of the rotunda, and that pattern that's built into the walls is a Mexican tile, which has perforations in it, and then the spectrum's coming through and mixing in lots of different ways to make beautiful patterns. And these are all examples of the kinds of things that we could do in the CHERP factory, not just one factory, but every factory. I'd love to be able to make art, because this experience of seeing a rainbow is so powerful for people. I had a great opportunity to speak with Jonas Salk, the inventor of the polio vaccine, just a few months before he died in 1995. And I asked him why it was that the experience of seeing the solar spectrum art was so powerful for people. I didn't really want to take credit for it because I knew it wasn't anything I had done myself. And he said, oh, that's easy. He said, the rainbow is a very deep memory for humans. It's been coded into our genetic material over millions of years. Seeing a rainbow restores our connection to nature. It restores our physical and psychic functions. And when you think about it, every culture on the planet has very popular uplifting rainbow myths, including certainly from the biblical tradition, and Australian Aboriginals, even Eskimos have rainbow mythology that celebrate, the power of nature. So to be able to bring this beautiful light into the factory, we're hoping that it will give all the people that are working there a big uplift and joy, and looking forward to coming to work. And people will want to work there just because of this beautiful environment of bringing nature into the building. Next slide. This is, so there's lots of different ways that we could work in the factory. One of them, we could have the spectrum on the floor. Another one is coming through skylights. Like this is a project in a library in Northern California. And of course, this is all based on the rotation of the Earth, so that the patterns and the colors are changing every minute of the day and every season of the year. It's constantly morphing at a subliminal rate. So it's always fresh. Next. We could put it on the ceiling. All those air conditioning ducts and wiring things make wonderful texture to throw light upon. This is a project I did in a 15th century church in Spain. And of course, Pomona's got great light. It's not like being up here in Oregon where it rains half the year. Next slide. And it could be a very large scale too. Maybe we'll have a factory someplace that'll be 1,000 feet long. And this is a project I did in the main railway station in Rome. This is around Christmas time. You can see the very proper pointed Italian Christmas tree at the end there. So this was a spectrum beam that was, I think, 700 feet long. Next slide. And it's all living art. It's bringing nature into the building. So here's Bruce at a very good segue, because he's going to be talking a little bit about what he did with sound. Because what I found out when I started doing this work was that limiting it to the visual side of the parts of the brain felt just kind of confined, and I wanted to find a way to expand the art so that it could reach all realms of consciousness in the whole and fill the entire space, even though the art itself was just, maybe on one wall or a ceiling. And so serendipitously, Bruce and I met, and his work, I feel, gives wholeness to us working together. Bruce, take it away.
Hello. I'm from three time zones hence, and I hope you can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Sounds great.
Okay, great. Super. First of all, I want to say thank you to the students. You did a marvelous job, and it's thrilling to be involved with something that has so many different perspectives and so much depth. I think this approach to solar photovoltaic development and economic development is thrillingly accurate to the times. And as Devin said, now that people can see through this virus what's going on with the economy and what's going on globally, relocalizing is of utmost importance. So I just am attracted to the project, as is Peter, through my work in environmental sound for a long period of time. And what you're seeing on the screen here is, of course, you can't really take a picture of sound waves, but that's a representation. Whoops, that little thing is a timer that my minute is up. Ha! So,
Take another one.
okay. So what's going on here is we're collecting sound at one end of Trajan's Forum in Rome, and in real time generating harmony out of the sound of traffic, and then putting it back as a harmonic element into the environment. And one small solar-powered speaker here, playing really quietly, really transformed the environment of this very noisy, chaotic downtown Roman place. And we discovered that adding a certain harmonic element to an environment makes things peaceful. It chills things out. So we called it traffic mantra. Why don't you play the next one? Here's a larger project in Boston where we took the sound of the train and the transport and created a soft wall of harmony that greets you when you enter Ruggles Station. And these pieces don't hit you in the face. They don't steal your attention much, but all of a sudden there's a nice peaceful and beautifully organized sort of chanting feeling going on. That all this work is about generating harmony and pushing the envelope away from chaos. And I think that that's something that I believe in. Next slide. Right, here we go back into old Roman times again. We're generating, taking a tuning tube, which makes these, which generates these overtones, and put it on the main road that goes to Istanbul. This is in Thessaloniki, Greece. And then generating harmony and reflecting it off these ancient palace of Galerius. So what that feels like, it just feels very, very nice, a little bit organized and generating. People like harmony. Their ears like to hear harmony. The idea here is that something could be done to make the environment where people are producing these panels be much more humane, more acoustically humane. People know that they like to be in a certain place partly by how it sounds and how it feels. And I feel like work like this, especially in combination with Peter's solar artwork, could make the environment that people are working in very humane and beautiful instead of sort of a chaotic work environment. So thank you all. I'm very happy to be part of this.
Thank you so much, Bruce, Peter, Athena, and Mary. It's very, very inspiring to me to see what's possible. You guys are expanding the limits of what I have imagined from the beginning. So we're very grateful for your participation.